Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, August 28th, and today we will cover the trades for YieldMax funds, TSLY, Cony, NVDY, and Misty. Today is also back to work today. Not only back to work, but back to the office day for me. So, yippee. No trades for TSLY, Cony, NVDY, or Misty. No trades, which is really good for me. So quick update on my options trades yesterday. I did make trades. I sold a put on TSLY. This time I chose an even lower strike price, $8 put. I got 16 cents per share or $16 in total because I did one contract, which is 100 shares. And I also added BITX to the bunch. This is a double leverage fund of Bitcoin. So it moves, 2 times whatever Bitcoin does. So obviously, this one is very volatile. So the premiums, are really good if you can get, assuming the interest is there. But I got 60 cents per share on this, or $60 in total. So a decent day of options for me. I'm approaching almost $1,000 in options income for the month of August, but we shall see. Don't want to push it, too much and make mistakes. All right, so let's get to the spreadsheet. All right, TSLY, again, they have 2 synthetics just hanging out. They have a 210 and a 215, both of which expired 52 days. Since there weren't any trades affecting them, we won't harp on them any further. Tesla did go down yesterday 1.89%. TSLY went down 1.6%. So you could see like the day prior when Tesla went down, TSLY did not go down nearly as much. Yesterday, TSLY did go down, a little closer to what Tesla did. But because that's because the strikes are now loosening up as Tesla goes down. So if we go here, as you can see, we're in a much better position than what we were, over the weekend when we were complaining. So where do we stand? We have a 222.50. That's the lowest strike price of the bunch over 2,000 contracts. That's 6.35% out of the money. And then we have 30,648 contracts, 225 strike price. That's 7.55% out of the money. So again, they're in, a much better position than when they even started this position. So far, so good. So far, it looks like they chose the right strike price, Again, very early, too early to tell. There's 3 trading days left, so let's not get too excited. But again, so far, so good. Now, outstanding shares, nothing, no change. All right, so 30-day IV, 47%. Outstanding shares, 51,025,000. As far as the weekly income is concerned, there still is none. So they have a loss of 5.8 million. Reaction. I don't know if you remember, but yesterday's video said thank you. And now they're saying thank you, it looks like in every different language. So thank you, thank you, thank you. They're thanking the TSLY gods. They're saving them. As far as income overall, though, there's a gigantic synthetic loss and there's the short call loss. So again, no income to report. This is taxable income, of course. You'll notice though, when I go over the recovery rate, try to say that like 50 times. When I go over that, you'll notice there is recovery on some of these funds that may not reflect it here. But keep in mind, this August breakdown, this is taxable income, all right? The recovery rate reflects everything, right? It reflects the unrealized gains, which means these gains could be locked up in the synthetic, right? So if the synthetic's making money and they didn't cash out on it yet, obviously that'll be reflected there and not here. So just keep that in mind before we get to it. So I don't even know if I mentioned that at the beginning of the video. By the way, I'm going to talk about the recovery rate at the very end. So since there was no trades. All right, so what do we got here? We got the holdings, we got the pink put, and we got the orange calls. Again, this is the synthetic. It's getting a little tighter. Obviously, we're in a pretty decent profit, but look what's happening on the weeklies. Much cheaper to close. 63 cents, 44 cents to close. All right, how much did they make on them? You know, high $2 range. So essentially, they could close these out to, if Tesla dips today, it could be into, you know, a huge advantage to close these out early. But I know they won't unless they yield approximately what their 30-day IV is. So for the 222.50, for example, since that already yields 74%, maybe it's possible they can close that one out early. I don't know. But either way, the net asset value of TSLY is 690 mil. The NAV is 1354 and the trade price is 1352. Synthetic bailout on the left is obviously decreasing, right? Because the synthetic is less and less valuable, which is, you know, it's fine because we don't care. The synthetic expires, has plenty of time to recover. More importantly, we're going to win on the weeklies, right? If we win on the weeklies, and we still are slowly making money on the synthetic, to me, that's best case scenario. Of course, they can blow through the weeklies. We can make money on the synthetic that way too. But that's why we have the you know, the numbers in blue. All right, let's go to Cony. Now, Cony has a synthetic 210. Cony has a synthetic 200. Now, the 210 and the 200 both expire in 24 days on September 20th. So it's not time to talk about them yet, but it is approaching, so we will keep that in mind. It's funny, someone said on Reddit yesterday, he said, you know, this guy hates on Cony one day, and then he says he praises Cony the next day. Well, of course, that's the name of the game, right? Some days it looks horrible. The next day they look like geniuses. Like this is the name of the game, man. You can't, it's all over the place, right? What can I say? It looked like some days the moves they look like are horrible, and then they come out to be right. And then some days their moves look out to be okay, and then they lose. But either way, yesterday coin went down 2.79%. Cony went down 2.24%. So crypto still on the downward for this week. Obviously, we needed that. We all know that because the strikes were very, very tight. Now, if we look at Cony to see where we're at, again, we're zooming out because we want to get the annualized yield in the picture per request from the audience. Now, the lowest strike price is 215. That's 17,100 contracts. Of that is at 215. That's 8.42% out of the money. And then they have 15,950 contracts, 217.50 strike, 9.68% out of the money. Wow. Just look at the 217.50. When they started that position, it was 2.89% out of the money. We were freaking out. Oh, I was. I mean, I'm sure some of you were too. But look where it's at now. Like, holy crap. Did they get lucky? Are they geniuses? Again, this is you know, would you take that risk with your own money? Or is this why you invest in YieldMax? Because let them worry about that and I'll just collect my income. And by the way, investing in these funds is truly passive income because they're doing all the work. Believe me, I've been doing a lot of options myself lately. It's not as passive, right? It is involved. And it's a lot, I'll say it's a lot more emotional when you're doing it on your own, right? When you give YieldMax your money, you can just set it and forget it, which is not a good idea, of course. But even when you follow it closely, it's a little, I'll say, you worry about it a little less because you have the experts working on it. All right, so as far as outstanding shares for Cony, no change. Okay. What about the 30-day IV? 64%. That's okay, not great. 40,975,000 outstanding shares. Net income from the weeklies, no change from the day prior, 23.6 million. Total distribution, 58 cents. Daily income, this will change, of course, because I added a day, right? So if you add a day to the daily income and they didn't produce any income that day, obviously the daily income will go down, probably a fraction of a penny or whatever. But daily income is 3 cents a day. Daily yield is 0.16%. Annualized yield is 59.3%. So not terrible numbers. Reaction, Cony fund manager coming in today. He's he's telling everyone he's a genius. All right. He's getting a little cocky, but you know, he has the right to be. All right, so synthetic loss, 80 million. So we will just talk about short call income, which is 23.6 million. That comes to 58 cents per share. If you throw that in the rod estimator, that will show to be 79 cents or 58% yield. Now that shows 58% yield. However, their IV is a little higher than that. Their IV is 64%. So I would expect to get a little higher than that. Will they pay $1? I think that's the going question right now. It's really hard to tell. If they do, it'll probably just be $1 flat again. But they could be in the high 90s, 90-cent range, right? So, I mean, since I've been covering Cony, they've been paying $1 or $2. They've never gone under $1. So it will be interesting to see if they do. I mean, I think they should, to be honest. But time will tell. Now, let's go through the holdings. I'm going to have to take a sip of water. But so you see in pink, this is the synthetic put. And then in orange, the synthetic call. Again, no need to talk about them yet. And then in blue, these are the weeklies. So you can see they're getting a little cheaper to close out. Let me take a sip. 69 cents, 92 cents to close them out, right? So if we go to August tab, how much did we get up front? 303 and 282. So if you look at the annualized yield, that only yielded them 69%. So if they're striving for 64%, which is the IV, then they need a much cheaper, cost to close. So they're not going to close these early because it won't yield them what they need to. At least that's my thinking, of course. The net asset value of Cony is 661 mil. The NAV is 1613. Trade price 1614. Okay, moving on to NVDY. I just realized I went completely out of order. I did TSLY, then Cony, and now I'm doing NVDY. Whoops, my bad, guys. I'm all over the place. I started recording and I wasn't sure if I hit the unmute. So I had to redo it. So I'm all out of sorts. I was supposed to mention I'm doing the recovery rate at the end, and I didn't. But whatever, I don't have time because I got to get my ass to work. So I got to get this video done. Here is NVDY. So NVDY has a synthetic that expires on September 20th. They only have one synthetic, though. And it's sitting pretty so far, 24 days till expiration. Tonight is earnings. Tonight is, today's 8/28 and it's after hours. So we'll see, man. We'll see. So let's see how NVIDIA did yesterday approaching earnings. Well, it did go up. NVIDIA went up 1.46%. NVIDIA went up 1.22%. So decent capture. However, we kind of didn't want that because the strikes are very tight at the moment. I did watch some of the interview. I didn't finish it yesterday. But Coach, shout out to Coach. Go check out his YouTube channel. He interviewed Jay TSLY. And Jay, I don't know if someone asked about NVIDIA, but Jay mentioned NVIDIA, again, why he did the 2 week. And I guess he did make a good point. He sold this one 2 weeks in advance to capture the premium for earnings over 2 weeks instead of one, meaning if he just did the weekly, that, each day's premium essentially for that week would capture the earnings, but from the week prior, since you closed it before earnings, you wouldn't capture it. So I guess what he's saying is the week earlier that they sold it, that week also captured some additional premium, having earnings through that. Hopefully that makes sense, because if you do it at 2 weeks over earnings, then essentially all of those days within those 2 weeks could capture a little additional premium for the risk of earnings. Okay. Now, if you sold that same week that, into an expiration date that was prior to earnings, you're not going to get that same premium. So I kind of get that point of view on it. Do I agree? I don't agree with how close they went to, how out of the money. It's like, obviously the one shows 124 strike. It was 5% out of the money at the time. 91% annualized IV. That part I don't agree. They should have went for the 70%, which is their IV. But I don't know, man. It's we'll see. Again, we'll see. But this is where we stand. We have 20,000 contracts, 124 strike. That is 3.35% in the money. And then we have 59,490 contracts, 130 strike, 1.33% out of the money. So needless to say, if they have a really good earnings, it really doesn't matter. We're just going to lose, right? They're going to blow through the weeklies, and we're going to have a synthetic bailout. Now, as far as outstanding shares, no change. So check out how many days it's been since no trades. Last trade was 8:15, and yesterday was, what, 8:27. So that's crazy. How are people not buying in NVIDIA? All right, so NVIDIA 30 IV is 70%. Again, this is high because of earnings. It'll go back down after tomorrow. Outstanding shares 39.4 mil. Total net loss for the weeklies is 42 mil, unfortunately. So hopefully that turns around. But again, kind of a rough month. NVIDIA fund manager staying under the desk as earnings approach. He's hoping everything works out for him. But if not, he's got bailout money. So synthetic income is 13.2 mil. Short call loss is 42 mil. So net loss is 28.8 mil. So obviously, overall, no income to report, no estimate to report, but time will tell. Outstanding holdings, we do have the synthetic put in pink, synthetic call in orange, and you see the gigantic gap. The call is very valuable because obviously, the weeklies, they're hurting right now. So, but we'll see. Like if Nvidia tanks after earnings, then they'll win the weeklies. We'll move on. There's no rush to close the synthetic, so the synthetic has time to recover. If it goes up even under whatever the synthetic, strike is. If earnings are really good, then the weekly calls, it'll cost more and more to close them, and we'll lose our shirts. However, the synthetic will be more and more valuable. So, and then obviously we can calculate how much more valuable the synthetic is versus how much we're losing on the weeklies. All right. But either way, it's all good. So here's the synthetic bailout money so far, 46.2 mil. I don't know. Should we type that in here so it's confirmed synthetic bailout money? I don't think Jay likes that term, by the way. Synthetic bailout money. I just think it's funny. So we got to have fun with it, man. If we can't have fun, then what is the point, right? What the hell is the point of all this? And then we want to do right aligned. There we go. Synthetic bailout money. Boom. Okay, so our synthetic bailout money is 46.2 mil as of the close yesterday. And welcome back. $1 billion. All right, so we're back in the bill. We are $1 billion in net asset value. So, have we even been 1 billion for 2 days in a row? I don't even think so. It's been up, down, all around. But I guess after tonight, we will see. The NAV is 25.69 and the trade price is 25.72. And earnings 5 will be filled out tomorrow. Unfortunately, I'm in the office today and I got to rush home and there's baseball practice. So I'll be doing this probably after, late at night. Hopefully I don't forget, which I shouldn't, but either way. All right, last but not least, Misty, and then we'll get to the recovery rates. So Misty has a 139 synthetic. This one expires in 52 days, so no reason to talk about that since there were no trades. How did the MSTR do yesterday? They went down 4.69%. MSTY went down 2.8%. Okay, that's fine, I guess, right? Because Misty wasn't also some tight strikes. We know that. We were bitching, we were complaining all weekend. We were bitching, complaining in the beginning of the week, and now here we are. So where do we stand? Well, let's start with the lowest strike price. Lowest strike price is 146. Only 380 contracts, though, 4.28% out of the money. Second lowest strike, 148 strike price. Only 330 contracts, 5.71% of the money. The rest of it, again, over 31,000 contracts, 150 strike, 7.14% out of the money. Look at that. Look where they started that position. They started that position in the money, and now they're 7% out of the money. Unfreaking believable. Wow. How did they know? How did they know? But again, 3 trading days. Let's not get too excited. However, should they close them early? Let's take a look at that in a second. Outstanding shares did go up 100,000 again. So I hope to buy Misty once this freaking transfer goes through. It doesn't look like it went through from the 401k. But either way, 30-day IV, 82%. Outstanding shares, 19,275,000. Total net income, 7.6 mil. Distribution, 40 cents. Daily income, 2 cents a day. Daily yield, 0.07%. Annualized yield, 27%. So the weeklies, although, yes, they are producing income, but it's at a yield of only 27% because, you know, they've had a rough month as well. Reaction is, yes, the Misty fund manager, lately he's been going to church at night, and it's been working. So congratulations. Payment information, they got synthetic loss, 46 mil, and they got short call income, 7.6 mil. If we just focus on the weekly call income, the short call income, 40 cents, we throw that into the estimator, we're looking at a massive payment of 54 cents, which is a 27% yield. And it's pretty funny when Misty shareholders see this number, and they're probably like, get out of my face. I will not accept this. And even though it's a 27% yield, which, you know, back in the day, not in the back in the day, but a few years ago, you'd be like, thank you. Like, you'd be like praising 27% yield. But as a Misty shareholder, no, you want $1, you want $2, you want $3. But again, they're not going to pay that low, but that's just what it calculates to. All right, so outstanding holdings. Again, we got the synthetic in pink and orange, but let's look at the weeklies. So if we go to the August tab, what do we got? What are they yielding? So they have some aggressive yields here. So if you look at the annualized yield, what can they close out early? So if we go to the highest one, right? The one that shows 201% yield, although, you know, that's a 140 strike price. If they close that out early, what would it cost them? So if you go here, 146 strike, that's row 6. It would cost them $229 to close it. So if I plug in 229 here, how much would that yield them? It would yield them 122%, which is still above their 30-day IV. Okay, so maybe they should close that one at the open. I don't know. We'll see how it does open. Now, what about this larger position? What about the 150 strike price? That's yielding over 150%. What does that cost to close? So if we go to the 150, that costs 145 to close. If you look at row 8, column G, 145. So if I plug that in here, 1.45, damn, wow, that still yields them about 102%. I mean, that's, yeah. And don't forget, you know, them closing it early today, that even makes the annualized yield even stronger, because I'm keeping the expiration date of 8/30, even though they would essentially close it out today, having them yield more on an annualized basis. So what I'm showing here is if MSTR opens flat or down, I think they could close these out early, take the win, and move on. You know, that could be sort of like a lesson learned from last week. But crypto is dipping, I believe, because Kathy Wood, she sold some. At least that's what I hear. But yeah, so maybe the dip will continue and more people will sell out. So maybe they'll wait or maybe not. I don't know. But all I wanted to tell you guys is it looks like if they closed out all of these, they would still yield over their 30-day IV. So that's good stuff. Good to know. All right, MSTY net asset value is 466.3 mil. The NAV is 24.19 and the trade price is 24.30. And I will go to pre-market first, and then we'll talk about the recovery rates. All right, so let's go to pre-market. All right. So, oh, Bitex I have up. They also pay a dividend, by the way. I think I had it up right here. Check that out. Of course, I don't own any shares yet, but that's pretty. They pay a monthly dividend. I love it. All right, so let's refresh this bad boy. So Tesla is down 0.01% in pre-market. This is as of 5:38 a.m. Obviously, I'm already being later than I want to be. 209.19 is the current price. TSLY is up 0.22%. It's at 13.55. Nvidia is up 0.43%. It's at 128.85. NVDY is up 0.04%. It's at 25.73. Coin is down, wow, 2.32%, 193.69. Cony is down 1.67%, 1587. Again, the sell-off from your friend Kathy Wood. MSTR is down 2.39%, 136.67. So Misty continues to go down as well. It's down 1.89%. It's at 23.84. TSLY is flat, not updated. It's at 923. TNA is down 0.16%. It's at 43.47. AMDY is up 0.61%. It's at 14.80. AMZY is up it's up 0.76%. It's at 19.17. BTC is down 4.27%. And then I added Bitex because I'm going to start trading Bitex. They are down double, what Bitcoin is. So they're down 8.46%. I don't know if you recall in the beginning, I sold the put at $26 strike. Look where the price is. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But you know what? I don't care. It's all good. I'll sell another put today if needed, right? With a dip like this, I could sell another put, $22 strike, $20 strike. We'll see how much premium I can get. And then if Bitcoin continues to go down, then I'll continue to sell puts until it recovers. And then if I get assigned on some of these, great, let it recover and I'll sell calls. So that's the process. That's the wheel. All right, so that's the pre-market update on these funds, but I will get into the recovery rates. Okay, so I'll try to do this as quick as possible. So again, keep in mind, these recovery, what the heck? Apple is not showing up. Gotta love it, man. This is unbelievable. So it's not showing the 8.7 price. Why? What is wrong with you, Apple? AMZ, Phoebe, all these are freaking blank. Keep refreshing, keep refreshing. They were there before, so hopefully certain recovery rates come up, but whatever. So TSLY has a 110.75% recovery rate. What does that mean? Well, basically it means their last distribution was 96 cents. So if you look at the price from the last ex-dividend date up until the latest close, they have a positive capital gain of $1.07, which is more than the 96 cents they paid out, right? So that is why it shows over 100% recovery rate. It shows 110% recovery rate. But again, to the point, if you're wondering why, there's no income showing on my spreadsheet, it's because these synthetics, right? There's money in the synthetics that are unrealized. So if they closed out most of these synthetics, today they can make money, and then it would be realized, reflected in my numbers. So that's why the recovery rate is essentially realized and unrealized gains to show you how much it recovers from ex-dividend date. OARC, unbelievable OARC. OARC is just like, it's approaching that reverse split area, but it's saying, nope, not ready. Look at that recovery, 432%. Unbelievable. Again, Apple's not updated. Oh, Apple just got updated. Look at that. Holy crap. Apple, 320% recovery rate. NVDY, 324% recovery rate. AMZ, 156% recovery rate. Phoebe, 117% recovery rate. GUI, 152% recovery rate. Nefly, 249% recovery rate. Cony, 202% recovery rate. DISO, 129% recovery rate. MSFO, 185% recovery rate. Zomo, 128% recovery rate. JPMO, 326% recovery rate. AMDY, damn, 450% recovery rate. PP, 487% recovery rate. SQUI, 353% recovery rate. And Myrna, you had to ruin it. Oh, damn, we're on a massive streak. Not only are you not 100% recovered, but you're in the negative. You have lost 6.44%. Yeek. All right, let's continue the positive. Even AIYY, who's approaching a reverse split, it has a 126% recovery rate. Misty, 136% recovery rate. YBIT, 244% recovery rate. Crash, ew, negative 83% recovery rate. Yuck. GDXY, good job, 260% recovery rate. SNOY, almost there, 99.57% recovery rate. ABNY, 109% recovery rate, and Fiat is in the negative 0.53% recovery rate. So really, really good month for the synthetics, at least. Again, the weekly calls will only do good if they didn't get blown out of the water. But, you know, this just shows you the power of the synthetic. The synthetic tracks the underlying. The underlying does well, and then obviously the recovery rate will reflect well. So last but not least, let's look at ULTI. ULTI has a recovery rate of 41%, YieldMax a recovery rate of 30%, and YMAG a recovery rate of 23%. Obviously, they have a little more time to recover because, you know, their ex-dividend date fell on 8/15. The ex-dividend date for the covered call ETFs fell on 8/7. So hopefully ULTI, YieldMax, and YMAG can do a 100% recovery prior to them distributing again. All right, so that's the recovery rate for all the funds. I think that should make most of you guys happy, except if you own Murny and these short funds. But, you know, these are pretty good numbers. So let me know what you guys think of the recovery rate. Does that make you a little happier? Again, I know when we talk about the trades, you have to always keep in mind that's what I'm showing as payment detail. That's taxable trades. These are called realized gains or losses, right? Realized meaning they actually produced a trade. They did a transaction where they have to realize this income or this loss into their annual statement, which means, of course, they have to produce or pay out 90% of that income. So, you know, you have to keep in mind, if they're making money on the synthetic and the synthetic is still open, yeah, there's money to be reflected there at some point, right? And that's what the recovery rate does. It tells you, okay, maybe it's not as bad as we are, right? Synthetic bailout money can save us. So hopefully that helps. All right, guys. As always, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you were entertained. If not, we'll try again tomorrow. If you enjoy this content, please always remember to hit the like button. It goes a long way. Also, if you have questions or concerns, leave them in the comments below. And what time is it? It's 5:45. Yeah, I got to get my ass moving. Today is back to work, back to office day. So needless to say, the keyword for today has to be frickin' work. Frickin' back to work, frickin' office, frickin' commute, whatever you guys choose, that's up to you. But yeah, I gotta get my ass to work. But either way, it is what it is. So if you made it this far in the video and you want to prove it, all you have to do is type in the comments down below, frickin' work, frickin' back to work, frickin' office, frickin' whatever, frickin' commute. And that shows me that you're a trooper and you made it to the end. Of course, you can add any questions you have, below that. But, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, thank you for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Later.